Hey there folks, Mr. Mustache here with 3 different kinds of pistols. Now each one of these pistols belongs to one of the 3 main types of handguns. I just want to sit down and talk about the different kinds of handguns, what they're called, how they work, and just a little bit about them. Now I know for people just getting into the firearm community that the nomenclature and the words we use in the 2A community can be a bit hard to understand sometimes. Sometimes it's like we're speaking Greek. But I'd like today to clear up a little bit of that for you. So next time you're at the range or you're at the gun store or something like that, and you hear somebody talking, you might be able to understand a little bit more about what they're saying and maybe even add to the conversation. Let's start off with this pretty little revolver right here. This right here is what's known as a single action revolver. This one in particular is a clone of the 1873 Colt, except for instead of being chambered in 45 long Colt, it's chambered in 22 long rifle. Now before we dink around this pistol, let's make sure that all the chambers are cleared. Well, I didn't see any bullets, so he must be alright. Now the reason this is known as a single action revolver is because the trigger only has one action. We can tell by pulling the trigger nothing happens right now. The cylinder doesn't spin, the hammer doesn't come backwards. The trigger does nothing until the hammer is brought back and then it's pulled. Only thing the trigger does on this pistol is it drops the hammer. Pretty straightforward as to why it's called a single action. It just has one action that the trigger does. Next up we have this pistol right here in the middle. Make sure really quick, no bullets. We can close this. Now this is what's called a double action revolver. Its naming is pretty darn similar to the single action revolver. It's called a double action revolver because the trigger does 2 things. Firstly, the trigger, like on the single action, causes the hammer to fall. But unlike a single action, just by pulling back the trigger, we can cause the hammer to go backwards. So we can cock the pistol by pulling the trigger and fire at the same time. So instead of having to cock back the hammer every single time to shoot, we can just pull the trigger, causing it to fire. Pretty nifty, really nice if you're in a tight spot. I really enjoy my double action. I carry with me a lot. This one is in .357 Magnum, and it is a lot of fun to shoot. Now last but not least, we have our semi-automatic pistol. Now you might be able to tell, this is a lot different from this. Probably the biggest thing we can tell is these round drum-shaped things. These are called cylinders. This is where these keep these bullets. This doesn't have this. This has this. This is a slide. It's really hard to show you how this works with just one hand. But you can tell it slides back. Every time this slides back, a bullet goes up from in here where the magazine sits, up into here. Now this right here, this is a magazine. Some people call them clips. Those people are wrong. I'm sorry. This is a magazine. If you're at a gun store and you ask for a 9mm clip, the man behind the counter is going to look at you like you're a very silly person. I don't want to tell you what to call things, but I want to help you not feel stupid. This is a magazine. A magazine goes inside a semi-automatic weapon, mostly, for the most part, at least semi-automatic pistols like that. And then every time this is fired, one of these bullets goes up into here, into the chamber. Semi-automatic pistols are very popular. They're a lot of fun. They're very good for carrying. They're very, very different from our wheel guns. Sometimes this is called a self-loading pistol, a slide pistol, but most people just refer to this as a semi-automatic pistol. They're a lot of fun. Hopefully here soon I'll be able to do a review on this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you were able to learn something today. Really what I want to do with this channel is try to teach people who are just getting into firearms, people who don't know as much, people who want to learn more. I'd like to break things down and speak to them in a language that you can understand. because gun talk can be really hard. It can be really intimidating. And I don't want you to get scared out of the 2A community, because the firearm community is a lot of fun. People are very welcoming. People are awesome. But sometimes getting into it can be really scary, and you can feel really, really stupid. And I want to help you feel not stupid. So on this channel, I'm going to be posting videos about different ammo types and the differences about them, different firearm types and their differences. And I'm also going to be posting about different cheap firearms and my reviews on them, because anybody who is a firearm fanatic, anybody who knows anything about guns really, can tell you that all three of these pistols are very cheap. These are some of the cheapest pistols you can buy on the market, because you know what? I'm a poor, broke college guy. I'm trying to pay rent. I'm trying to take care of my wife, trying to pay medical bills and buy food. So firearms I have for the most part are very cheap. And I want to talk about these cheap firearms because these are a very easy way to get into the 2A community. I want you to know about them. I want you to know that they're there. There's an option for you. Thank you so much again for watching. I'd love it if you could comment, maybe like, maybe subscribe. A comment would be awesome because it helps appease those false gods of the YouTube algorithm. Thanks again, and happy trails.